Is this one mistake costing you so much money to travel internationally that you just decided you don't want to go? You ever do this? You decide you want to go somewhere like Pattaya, Thailand, or San Andrés Islands of Colombia. You open up Google Flights, you type in the city, and then you see the price. And you just sit there staring at the screen. $800 just to get there. And that's where usually people stop. They either just cancel the whole idea or they just convince themselves that international travel is just too expensive. It's not in your budget. Your wallet can't afford it. But most of the time, the problem is not the country. It's the airport you pick. Rookie travelers, they travel like this. They decide the exact destination first. I want to go to this city. And then they try to force the flight to work. But see, smaller airports are often the most expensive ones to fly into internationally. Why? There's less competition. There's fewer routes. Sometimes only one airline even flies there, so the price jumps up. But the experienced travelers like myself, we think about flights a little bit differently. Instead of starting with the destination, we start with the cheapest way to get to the country. And that one change can completely change the cost of your entire trip. Let me give you a real life example. I wanted to go to San Andrés, Colombia. Why? Beautiful island, amazing water, great food, nice people. But if you search a flight directly from the United States to San Andrés, you're going to see flights around $800. And here's where you get interesting. If you search a flight to Cartagena, Colombia instead, you might find something close to about $350. Now, once you're already in Colombia, a domestic flight from Cartagena to San Andrés, $75, $100. So instead of paying $800 just to get there directly, you spend around $450 total. And now something else happens. You didn't just save some money, you added an entire new city to your trip. So instead of rushing straight to the island, you can spend a couple of days exploring Cartagena, walk the old city, try some local food, see another part of Colombia that wasn't on your agenda. If you was already willing to spend $800 on a plane ticket, why not turn that extra money into a whole nother experience? That's the shift in thinking. So instead of planning around destinations, you start planning around entry points. Where's the cheapest city to get into the country? And once you land, moving around inside the country, that's usually much cheaper. See, domestic flights in many of these countries are surprisingly affordable. Sometimes it's even cheaper to take the flight than it is to take a taxi ride in the United States. So instead of forcing your trip through one of the expensive airports, you enter through the cheapest door and then move around once you're already inside. Thailand works the same way. When I went to Thailand, see, a lot of travelers, they want to go straight to Phuket or Pattaya, but the international flights to Phuket can be expensive. Bangkok, on the other hand, this is a major international hub where flights to Bangkok are usually much cheaper. And once you land in Bangkok, the domestic flights to places like Phuket, Chiang Mai, Pattaya, they're affordable. Sometimes $40, $60, or $80. And here's something interesting I noticed when I did this. For about $15 more, I was able to upgrade my domestic flight. You know what that got me? That got me a meal, some bubble tea. I could choose my seat. Try doing that in the United States on the domestic flight for $15. So now you're not just only saving money to get into the country, you also spending a little bit more to get comfortable once you're already there. See, international flights are priced very differently than domestic flights. Airlines compete heavily to these major international routes because they're big cities, they're major hubs. They have multiple airlines flying into them from the same places. But the smaller destinations, they don't have that competition. So they cost a lot more. Once you're inside the country, the local airlines, they compete aggressively. Budget airlines, short routes, frequent flights. That's why moving around inside the country can be surprisingly cheap. This really works best when you have just a little bit of flexibility. And when you open to seeing more than one place, you not just have to get there right away. Countries that really worked out that I've been there: Thailand, Colombia, Mexico, Spain, Indonesia. But if your trip is short or the domestic flights are just expensive around that time, then maybe flying directly to your destination, it still may make a little more sense. Like most travel destination, context matters. But the big shift is this. Don't start planning your trip around the exact destination. Start with the cheapest way to get into the country and then build your trip from there. Sometimes, I'm telling you, This can save you hundreds of dollars. And sometimes it adds a whole nother city that you never planned on seeing. And sometimes you get the best of both worlds. And personally, I'd rather spend my money experiencing a place than spending it just getting there. Because the smartest travel decisions usually happen way before you ever buy the ticket. This here is Flight Risk. Real travel decisions, no hype, just clarity. So go ahead and subscribe for some honest travel strategies, realistic budgeting, and a smarter way to see the world without pretending you're rich.